In Chicago, you have Navy Pier, you have Belmont Harbor, you have Monroe Harbor, and for 5 months a year, those are genuinely great places to be on the water. But let me show you what your weekends look like when you own a golf access home here in Cape Coral, Florida. You cast off from your own dock on a Saturday morning, no trailer, no lawn tramp, no driving anywhere, just you, your boat, and Cape Coral's 222 miles of saltwater canals leading to some of the best boating destinations in the entire country. By the time a Chicago boater pulls into Belmont Harbor on a summer Saturday, you could already be anchored at a sandbar in Foster Bay with a cold drink in your hand watching the pelicans work the shoreline. This is not a vacation, that is a normal Saturday in Cape Coral. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor, specializing in golf access homes for Chicago, Midwest, and Northeast boaters relocating to Southwest Florida. Now, if you're thinking about buying, selling, retiring, or relocating to Cape Coral, connect with me directly. The link is in the description, and the call is always complimentary. In this video, I'm going to take you through the best boating destinations from Cape Coral. Inshore fishing, offshore fishing, island hopping, dock and dine restaurants, sandbars, and the sunset experience that makes Chicago boaters wonder why they waited so long to make this move. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to want to be on the water. All right, let's go. Let's start with fishing, because for a lot of Chicago boaters, fishing is the whole reason they want to be on the water in the first place. Now, you can catch fish in Cape Coral's saltwater canals. Snook move into the canals during the warmer months, and plenty of people catch them right under the dock lights at night. But if you want to target the big ones, you need to get out of the canals and into the back bay areas. This is where the real inshore fishing happens. Snook are the signature fish of Southwest Florida. They are explosive fighters, highly technical to target, and once you catch one, you're hooked for life. Now, the back bays, mangrove shorelines, and passes around Cape Coral are loaded with them. Redfish are everywhere in the back bays and flats. Pine Island Sound, Matlacha Pass, Estero Bay, these are world-class redfish fisheries. Sight casting to a redfish on a shallow flat on a calm morning with the sun coming up is as good as fishing gets anywhere in the country. Now, if you have never done it, you are in for a completely new experience. Tarpon are the big game of Southwest Florida inshore fishing. Every summer, tarpon migrate through the area, and the passes around Boca Grande and Sanibel are legendary tarpon destinations. Catching a 100-pound tarpon that jumps 10 feet in the air is an experience that simply does not exist anywhere near Chicago. Sea trout round out the inshore picture and are available year-round throughout the entire area. A quiet morning, calm water, a light rod, and a sea trout before breakfast, that is Cape Coral living. For boaters who want to run offshore, Cape Coral provides access to golf fishing that simply does not exist anywhere near Chicago. The Gulf is vast, the water is warm, and the species you can target out there are ones that Midwest and Northeast anglers have spent their whole lives dreaming about. One thing worth knowing, how quickly you reach open water depends on where your home sits in Cape Coral. A home with direct golf access and a short traverse makes offshore trips a much more natural part of your regular routine. This is exactly the conversation we've had when we connect and I walk you through what your budget buys you on the water in Cape Coral. Grouper are the prize offshore. Red grouper on the Gulf reefs and hard bottom areas. Gag grouper around the rocky bottoms and drop-offs. When the season is open, a full day grouper trip from Cape Coral, running out to the reefs, dropping down and coming home with fresh grouper for the grill is the kind of day that makes you wonder how you ever lived anywhere else. Seasons are federally managed, so always check current regulations before you head out. Snapper fishing is equally exciting when the season aligns. Mangrove snapper and lane snapper are available more consistently throughout the year. Red snapper have specific regulated seasons, but when they are open, the bite can be exceptional. A mixed bag offshore day targeting snapper and grouper is a regular reality for Cape Coral boaters when the right vessel. And then there are amberjack. If you want to fight, amberjack will give you one. They are one of the most powerful fish in the Gulf, and hooking into one on light tackle is an experience you will not forget. Harvest seasons are managed and can close for extended periods. Always check current federal guidelines. But when the season is open and you are hooked up to a big amberjack in the below Gulf water with Cape Coral skyline long behind you, that is a moment that does not exist anywhere near Lake Michigan. This is where Cape Coral living becomes something truly special and something that simply does not exist anywhere in the Midwest or the Northeast. From your dock, you can reach some of the most beautiful islands on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Let me walk you through them. First up, we have Sanibel Island. Now, Sanibel is famous for shelling and consistently ranks as one of the best shelling beaches in the entire world due to the way the island is oriented to catch shells coming in from the Gulf. Tie up at Sanibel Marina and grab lunch at Grandma Dot's right there at the marina, a longtime boater favorite for grouper sandwiches and fresh seafood. Now, after lunch, take the boat around to the Gulf side and head to Bowman's Beach, one of the most beautiful and natural beaches on the entire island. Wide open Gulf beach, incredible shelling, and the kind of unspoiled scenery that makes you forget the rest of the world exists. This is a normal Sunday for Cape Coral waterfront homeowners. Next up, we have Captiva Island, just north of Sanibel and accessible through the same route. Captiva has a completely different feel, quieter, more laid back, with some of the prettiest water views on the Gulf Coast. Tie up and have lunch or dinner at Green Flash overlooking the Roosevelt Channel and Pine Island Sound. Now, the back dining area sits almost directly over the water. Call ahead because docking is limited, but it is worth the planning. Cayo Costa. Now, this one makes Chicago boaters speechless the first time they see it. Cayo Costa is a Florida State Park island that is accessible only by boat. No cars, no development, just miles of pristine Gulf beach and some of the best shelling in the state. You anchor offshore, wade in, and spend the day on a beach that most people will never see in their lives. This is what your weekends look like when you own a Gulf access home here in Cape Coral. Boca Grande, a charming old Florida island town on Gasparilla Island. Boca Grande Pass is one of the most famous tarpon fishing spots in the entire world. The town itself has great restaurants, boutique shops, and a pace of life that feels like Florida used to be before everyone found it. This is a full day destination that Cape Coral boaters make regularly. Next up is Pine Island, closer to home and a completely different experience. Now, Pine Island is the largest island on Florida's Gulf Coast with no Gulf beach. It faces Pine Island Sound rather than the open Gulf. The waterways around Pine Island are shallow, mangrove lined, and absolutely loaded with fish. Next up is Matlacha, the funky little fishing village you pass through on the way to Pine Island. Is one of the most colorful and charming spots in all of Southwest Florida. Pull up to the Yucatan Waterfront Bar and Grill in Matlacha, tie up right at the dock, grab a drink at the Tiki Bar, and watch the boats go by. And for something more upscale, Tarpon Lodge in St. James City is a beautiful waterfront property with exceptional food, a relaxed old Florida atmosphere, and boat access. It is the kind of place you take someone when you want to make an impression. All right, let's chat about Cabbage Key. I saved this one for last because it deserves its own moment. Cabbage Key is a private island in Pine Island Sound that is accessible almost exclusively by boat. There are no roads in. You anchor or tie up at the dock and walk up to the Cabbage Key Inn and Restaurant, a place that has been welcoming boaters since 1938. The inside of that restaurant is covered floor to ceiling with dollar bills, thousands of them. The tradition started decades ago when fishermen would pin a dollar to the wall for good luck, so they would always have money for a beer when they came back. It is old Florida at its absolute best. The cheeseburgers are legendary, the atmosphere is unlike anything you've ever experienced, and getting there by boat on a beautiful Southwest Florida morning is one of those experiences that stays with you. This is the kind of destination that makes a Chicago boater understand immediately why people make this move. No video about Cape Coral boating destinations would be complete without talking about the sandbars. This is a concept that barely exists on Lake Michigan and is one of the things that Cape Coral boaters talk about most when you ask them what surprised them most about the lifestyle here. Head out to Foster's Bay on a beautiful Saturday afternoon and you will see something that stops Chicago boaters in their tracks the first time they witness it. Boats rafted together side by side, sometimes dozens of them, tied up to each other in the shallow, warm water, music playing from boat speakers, coolers out, people in the water socializing, swimming, laughing. It is a floating community that forms organically every weekend when the weather is good and the water is calm. You pull up, tie off to another boat, step off into knee or waist deep warm water, and you are instantly part of it. Nobody needs an invitation, nobody needs a reservation. You just show up, tie up, and the afternoon takes care of itself. You meet other boaters, make friends, trade stories about where you came from and how you ended up in Cape Coral. A lot of people who made the move from the Midwest and Northeast found their closest Cape Coral friendships at the Sandbar. Think about what that afternoon looks like. You cast off from your own dock in the morning, run out to Foster Bay, spend 4 or 5 hours, rafted up with good people in warm, shallow water under a blue Florida sky, then idle back through the canals as the sun starts to get low and the sky turns pink. You're back at your dock before dinner. For a Chicago boater who has spent summers fighting cold water, wave action, and crowded Lake Michigan beaches, that afternoon in Foster's Bay is a revelation. It is one of those experiences you simply cannot describe to someone who has not lived it. You just have to get there. One of the things that surprises Chicago, Midwest, and Northeast boaters most about Cape Coral is how many great restaurants are accessible directly by boat. You are not just going out on the water and coming back. You are using your boat the way Chicago drivers use a car. And the dining options are genuinely exceptional. Let's start right here in Cape Coral. Cape Harbor Marina is one of the best stops on the water. Fathom's Restaurant and Bar has great food, cocktails, and live music right at the marina. And right next door, Rum Runners offers a more upscale seafood and steak experience. Two completely different vibes, one marina, and you can tie up steps from either one. It is one of the easiest and most enjoyable dock and dine experiences in the area. Also in Cape Coral, Tarpon Point Marina gives you two more great options. Gather is a stylish waterfront restaurant with creative food, brunch, and cocktails. A great choice when you want something a little more curated. Right next door, the Naughty Mermaid Dockside Bar and Grill at the West End is the casual option. Drinks, sandwiches, marina views, and live music on the weekends. Tarpon Point is directly accessible from the Caloosahatchee River, making it a natural stop on any run. And for something a little different, right here in Cape Coral, Monarca's authentic Mexican cuisine has a canal dock and is a fun option when you want great Mexican food and margaritas instead of the usual seafood. Just off the Caloosahatchee River on the Mandolin Canal near the Cape Coral Bridge, it's Slip Away Food Truck Park and Marina. It's a casual stop, fuel, cocktails, live music, and multiple food trucks right on the water. Perfect for a group outing or a laid-back afternoon with family. Continuing up the river on the Fort Myers side, Deep Lagoon Seafood and Oyster House is an upscale but relaxed choice for fresh seafood, oysters, and cocktails on the water. Worth the run up the river. Just call ahead to confirm transient dock availability before you head out. Running south towards Fort Myers Beach, Dock Ford's Rum Bar and Grill is consistently one of the best waterfront dining experiences in Southwest Florida. Great seafood, a lively atmosphere, and solid boat access make it a regular destination for Cape Coral boaters. And for a more casual Old Florida experience, Dixie Fish Company is right there for strong water views and great seafood. Call ahead on both to confirm dock arrangements on busy weekends. Now out at Port Sanibel Marina, the Lighthouse Waterfront Restaurant is a quieter option for a sunset dinner with direct access towards San Carlos Bay and the Gulf. A great choice when you want to slow down the day and watch a sky change colors over the water. Out in Matlacha, the Yucatan Waterfront Bar and Grill is one of the most fun and colorful stops at the water. Tie up right at the dock, grab a drink at the Tiki Bar, and soak in the laid-back Matlacha vibe. It is a completely different energy from the Cape Coral Marina scene and one that never gets old. Now over on Pine Island in St. James City, the Waterfront Restaurant and Marina has dockside seating and boat slips, a great destination for boaters exploring the area coming through Matlacha Pass. And for something more upscale, Tarpon Lodge is a beautiful waterfront property with exceptional food, a relaxed Old Florida atmosphere, and boat access. It is the kind of place you go for a special occasion. Where will you be spending your next birthday or anniversary? And then there are the sunsets. I have mentioned them in previous videos, but I want to give them their own moment right here because they are genuinely one of the defining experiences of Cape Coral waterfront living. Cape Coral sits on the Gulf, which means the sun sets over open water to the west every single evening. Lake Michigan gives you spectacular sunrises. The sun coming up over the water on a summer morning is a beautiful thing, but the Gulf at sunset is something else entirely. On any evening, you can idle out of your canal, point the bow west, and watch the sky turn colors that photographers travel from around the world to capture. Pink and orange and deep red reflecting off the water, the kind of sunset that makes you stop whatever you're doing and just watch. That becomes your Tuesday night, your Wednesday evening after work, your Sunday routine. Chicago boaters who make the move to Cape Coral consistently say the sunsets were the thing they did not expect to affect them as much as they did. Now you can look at a photo and appreciate it, but watching a Gulf sunset from the bow of your own boat on a warm evening in February while your friends are back home shoveling snow, that is the moment it makes sense. This is what your boating life looks like from a Cape Coral Gulf access home. Inshore fishing in the back bays, offshore runs to the Gulf reefs, island hopping to Sanibel, Captiva, Cayo Costa, Boca Grande, and Cabbage Key, tying up at waterfront restaurants, anchoring at Foster Bay on a Saturday afternoon, and watching the sun go down over the Gulf on a Tuesday night like it's nothing. Chicago boaters, Midwest boaters, Northeast boaters, this life is available to you. And it starts with owning the right home on the right canal. In the next video, we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes buyers make when purchasing a Cape Coral waterfront home and how to avoid every single one of them. Now, if you're serious about buying in this market, that video could save you a significant amount of money. Make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss it. Now, if you're watching this and thinking this is exactly the life you want, connect with me directly like so many Chicago, Midwest, and Northeast boaters already have. You may get on that call and realize Cape Coral is everything you imagine, or you may find it's not quite the right fit for your situation. Either way, you're going to walk away with a clearer picture than you have right now. And that clarity is worth the conversation. The call is complimentary. It is a video call, and I will share my screen and walk you through exactly what your budget buys you on the water in Cape Coral right now. And if you're watching on your TV, there's a QR code banner at the bottom of your screen. Grab your phone and scan it right now. I'll give you a second. Now, once you scan that code and book your call, here's what we're going to do together. I'm going to pull up live MLS listings in your budget, show you real neighborhoods, real traverse times, and real bridge clearances for your specific boat. We are going to figure out exactly which part of Cape Coral fits your boating lifestyle. That call will give you a clearer picture of this market than anything you will find on Zillow. For everyone on your phone or computer, that link is in the description below as well. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor. Connect with me and let's figure out if this is the right move for you.